How to fix any MonsterInsights plugin errors within your website. This is the question that brought you to this video. I have prepared a complete list with step-by-step instructions to correct all the errors on your WordPress website quickly and objectively. I will teach you with a complete tutorial how to correct all the errors you are facing without wasting your time with useless solutions. If that's what you need, then let's get to the content. Here's a very important step that you cannot neglect. Use good website hosting. 90% of the problems we encounter on WordPress sites are always related to the hosting company. In some cases, the PHP version is out of date. In other cases, PHP does not have an extension allowed or features are missing. Therefore, we recommend Hostinger servers so that you can use PHP in your hosting company, regardless of which country in the world you are in. They have multi-language support, and they serve the entire world. They have a specific plan for WordPress with management, and it is one of the best plans for WordPress. We tested several sites within these plans. From the initial plan, you can host from 100 websites, and they are compatible with absolutely everyone. All the plugins we have tested to date, we have not found any plugin that does not work within the Hostinger environment. They also have a system within the panel to check viruses within WordPress installations, make updates within the panel, and check plugin compatibility, which will help you resolve most problems. There's a link in the description, and if you're purchasing an annual plan or longer, use our link to support our channel. One very important thing, as Rotchinger has a money-back policy if you don't like the product, you can simply do the following. By hosting from Rotchinger, install a WordPress site. Install all the themes and plugins you have on your current website. Check if it will work. If it works, you know the problem is with your website hosting and it's time for you to migrate. All you have to do is bring your website to Hostinger. Even Hostinger does the migration for you free of charge. All you have to do is join one of their plans. I recommend Cloud Startup for sites that need more performance and call the support team, and they will help you with the migration process. Before making any changes, you must back up your environment. It is very important to have a backup of your website. Even if it has a problem, make a backup of the website to its current state. You can ask your hosting company's support team, or you can hire Hostinger, link in the description, and you can have their automatic backup. Backing up on the Hostinger panel is very simple to do. I'm going to teach here, and almost every hosting company is the same. Within your hosting company's dashboard, you go to Files, and you will have the Backups option. Coming here to the Backups option, I can click on Create New Backup. I come to Select. It warns me that it will overwrite the previous backup. Continue, and it starts creating my backup. I have to wait until this backup is complete, so I can start making the changes that will fix the problems with the plugins and themes within my website. Okay, backup completed. Now you can go to your website, make the necessary changes. If you have a problem, it's very simple to restore the backup. You can come here to restore the website. Select the date of the backup you made. Click on Restore, and it carries out the entire process. This said hosting. If you are using another hosting company, just contact technical support, and they will help you resolve the issue and perform a restoration if necessary. This is the first step to solving problems. In fact, if you have a problem and don't have any new information on the site, you can try restoring old backups to see if it fixes the problem you're getting. Checking the PHP extensions that your plugins and themes require can help you solve many of the problems as well. Here within the hosting panel, we go to PHP configuration. We go to PHP extension, and we check the extensions that are already natively active, and you cannot deactivate them. And below are several other extensions that you can optionally activate. Most hosting companies do not have this type of extension available, which is why we chose Hostinger as a partner. Let's go. I'll give you an example, and this is just an example. You can use this base for any plugin you use. You go to Google and search for the name of the plugin and the PHP extensions it needs, or read the documentation. So, for example here, Elementor. He has the PHP ZLIB extension as a necessity. He needs this extension active. Coincidentally, it is also an extension required by WordPress. So it's obvious that our site has the extension active, but it's important for you to know that all of your plugins have PHP extensions that they need to work. A plugin can depend on an extension. Another plugin may depend on another. So it's important that you have all necessary extensions active. How do you find this out? Talking to the plugin developer or reading the documentation. Generally, most hosting companies come with all the necessary extensions active, but there may be cases where you have to test to see if your plugin depends on any extension. Additional PHP. Increase PHP memory. This is a step that solves most cases of problems with plugins, especially cases of instability, when the site goes on and off. Let's go. Coming to your hosting company's dashboard, you can click here on Advanced PHP Configuration, and you will land on this screen. You go to PHP Options. You will go down to the option that talks about PHP memory. Here I have it set to 512 megas. I can change it to 1024. Keeping in mind that my plan has 3 gigs. Incredible, 3 gigs of RAM. I can change, for example, to 1024, come down here, save, and this step, after a few seconds, can completely change the performance of your website, including making several plugins that were stopping working due to the use of PHP are available on your website. Excessive memory or not excessive, just the necessary usage, get them back up and running. So, check with your hosting company if your plan has memory values greater than 1 gigabyte. 1024 gigabytes. Ideally, plans should have more than that because PHP is just one of the parts that will use your hosting's memory. Another step is to change the browser you are using. I know this step seems obvious, but in many cases it solves problems. Let's test. Let's go. Let's select the browser we were using previously, copy the URL, and simply paste it into another browser. It can be any browser, and on your computer you certainly have more than one browser. If you are using Windows, it comes by default with Microsoft Edge. If you're on Mac OS, you have Safari. If you're using Linux, it comes standard with Firefox. You can switch between browsers to see if the web page opens. Another important tip is to try to open the same page on your cell phone. Deactivating WordPress plugins is also a step that usually solves some problems. It may be that what you have within your environment is a compatibility problem and not a specific problem with the plugin. WordPress is a huge ecosystem, and sometimes some developers develop plugins that conflict with other plugins. The best way to find out if the plugin you want to use conflicts with any other plugin by coming to the WordPress dashboard and deactivating the plugins. Clicking on Deactivate the plugin is simply deactivated. However, this has a small problem. In some cases, you will not be able to open the WordPress dashboard. If your case is a case where WordPress doesn't even open the panel, I'll teach you how to deactivate the plugin in another way. Open your hosting company's panel. Go to Files and File Manager or File Manager. Click on your File Manager, and when you open it, you will have access to the HTML public folder. Access the HTML public folder. On some servers, this folder may be named www. Go to WP Contents, the Plugins folder, enter it. And inside the Plugins folder, you will see that you will have folders with the names of the plugins you're using. For example, here I have a plugin called Full Wide Page Templates. What I'm going to do is deactivate this plugin, but not here. If my WordPress wasn't opening, I could just rename by clicking with the right button, going to rename, and I change the name of the folder. I will just add an underline at the end and click on rename. Change the name of the folder, and when I come to WordPress and update, I will see that the plugin has been deactivated. So if this plugin was causing a problem in my WordPress installation, I would have deactivated it, and my WordPress would be working again, thus letting me know that this plugin is a problem. If this plugin has been deactivated, as I did now, and even though WordPress didn't work again, I must continue deactivating the other plugins, renaming the folder, or deactivating them through the panel until WordPress works again. The moment WordPress starts working again, I will know which plugin caused the problem. So I'm going to go back to the folder here and return the plugin folder name to the original. Bring the name of the plugin folder back to the original, removing the underline so that the name of the plugin folder remains as it should be. I update my plugins page, and now I can activate the plugin again. All the others, except the plugin that created the error within my site. This way I will know which of the plugins I have within my environment that generated an error in WordPress. Now let's move on to the solution, where we will change Taxess. In many cases, restoring Taxess to the WordPress default resolves most issues. However, it is important to pay attention to the following. If you use a caching plugin within WordPress, you must deactivate the plugin first. If your WordPress isn't even loading, then yes, you can change Taxess first and later disable the cache plugin. Most caching plugins change the WordPress Taxess file. Let's go. I'm going to open my hosting panel again. I'm going to come to the File Manager. Go to the File Manager and look for the current Taxess of my website in public.html. I will look for the Taxess file. It is here. The first thing I should do is create a copy of it. So I go to Copy File, select the current folder I'm in, copy, and it will create another Taxess for me outside of public.html. Another method for you to make a backup is also to simply right-click and turn Taxess into a zip file, for example, and then you will have your zip in case you need to restore. Okay, let's open Taxess. Notice that my Taxess is completely changed. These changes are due to my Lightspeed cache plugin. It makes changes, but the original WordPress Taxess doesn't look like this. In the official WordPress documentation, we can see the original appearance of Taxess. In an error situation, you can copy the content, paste the new content inside Taxess, and save the file. This will help you test whether your website will work again or not. If the site does not work again, restore the file as it was, and the file does not work again. Let's go to the next step. One way to fix problems is also by changing the permissions of the folders where your plugin was installed. In many cases, a person unzips a zip file directly into the WordPress folder where the plugin is located, and this changes the permissions and folder owner, causing critical errors within WordPress. Let's go back to our hosting company's dashboard. I came to Files, File Manager, access our File Manager, our File Manager, Go to Public HTML, access WP content. Go to the Plugins folder, and here we find all the plugins installed within WordPress. Note that they have specific folder permissions. This is the folder permission pattern within the web. If your directory is not with these permissions, you can right-click, you can come to Permissions, and change the permissions. Note that the permission is 755. If I check any box, I change the permissions. The default is 755. Check the recursive directories and files option and click Update. Important: if you want to keep the original state of the folder, before making the change, you can right-click, come to Archive, select the file format, and it will create a backup for you with the original state. Here the permission is different, but within this zip file, the permissions remain the same as they are on your screen. Time is money. If you need a team to solve problems with your applications, your infrastructure, and your web application, contact us. The link in the description has our calendar open to the public with hours and days that you can select. Check out and receive our exclusive service from a bunch of technology mad people for a client who needs it. Your time is worth a lot to us. If you don't want to, that's okay. Just watch the video until the end, and I'm sure you'll be able to solve your problem. If you want to make money solving WordPress problems, there's a link in the description that will take you to the best training there is. I want you to think about the following. What do you think is most likely? That someone pays you $1,000 for a website that they don't even know if they need? Or that someone who already has a website working and has a problem pays you $1,000 to solve it? Solve problems with tools that already exist. It is a huge and little explored market. You have the opportunity to work on the urgency, the need of businesses that are already active. Click on the link in the description, and I'm sure you'll like it. Come on, guys. If none of the other steps in this video manage to correct your error, I'll teach you how to get in direct contact with MonsterInsights support. Let's go. I'll leave this link here at wordpress.org in the first pinned comment, so you can access exactly this page that I'm here on right now. Well, by accessing the link, you will log in to your wordpress.org account. You will click on the link again. You will enter this page. You will go to the support part. Entering the support part, we go to Create Topic, which is nothing more than creating a support ticket to be able to contact support, a MonsterInsights support developer. Let's go. First thing, you will put a title for your support, which is nothing more than a simple summary of what is happening. You will put a link to your website. You will now put the golden tip, which comes now, as the body of the message. What you put here is the most important thing, so that the developer who will read your ticket can help you as quickly as possible and fix your problem as soon as possible. I'll leave this tip here for you ready. I'll leave the message ready in the first pinned comment so you can follow exactly what I'm going to tell you in this video. It will make the developer's life easier and will certainly make your problem resolved much faster. The first thing we're going to put here in this message that I've already prepared is your hosting company, then your PHP version, and finally, the version of your plugin, remembering that all the information I'm using here is purely illustrative. You include the versions and information about your environment and your plugin. Okay. One thing that is very important and many people forget to mention is which plugins are installed on your website while you are receiving this error. Because even if they have no connection with the error that is occurring, it can cause a conflict with the plugin that is causing this error. So yes, remember to always mention all the plugins that are making this error on your website. And if you have a caching plugin installed, remember to mention it separately and make it clear whether it is active or not at the time you receive this error message that is giving you a problem. As I taught you in some previous steps to activate WP debug, I will make it very clear that if you have received any message that may be important for your type of developer, remember to mention it here in this message as well. Error. I'm not going to put anything here because this is just an example that I'm showing you. And finally, we will put 2 little sentences explaining it to the support team. What is the process you are trying to do, and how is it working for you? First, you explain what the process is that you are trying to do, how it should work, and then you explain how it is actually working and what the error is that it is being returned to you. Beauty, and that's it. We are now going to put some little tags just to give them guidance on what the ticket is. You don't need to check these two boxes here unless it makes sense for you to write in the topic, but normally you won't need to check either of them. Here at the very end, I recommend that you mark the last one because it will. Here at the very end, I recommend that you mark the last one. Allow you to be notified by email when your ticket is answered. Okay. An addendum before we send. Whenever you write any message for any support on the internet, write in English because English is the most used language in the world and the main language used on the web. So write your ticket in English. Okay. You can now submit a submission. You will have already contacted Monster Insights support directly. And that's it. The video ends here. Thanks, bye.